We came so far from dreams. The path was hard for me. They thought we fall, you see. Well, look at us now, look at us now. We make it hot when we on the scene. Yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team. Yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around. You know that I roll with some kings. We shit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we. Tell me who better than we. We soaring to places you never could reach. When we walk in that spot, don't hear none of you speak. Shh, do you want peace or the peace? A king about to put you to sleep. Listen, my team is elite. You not even qualified to compete. He starving, he barely can eat. I guess that's why he always itching for beef. So I put him on ice and I told him to chill. Close your mouth if you can't pay for the meal. Making statements that you know you don't mean. Nice guy trying to act like he mean. Keep it a buck, keep it a bean. Attitudes will put you dudes in the beam. Isekai, he don't live in reality. Shake back off, become a fatality. Yeah, how you gon' hate when you mirror us? He think he a star, he ain't serious. X him out, we not on the same frequency. If you broke, you ain't hearing us. Work the screw, anime, that's how I feel, period. We winning, that's making them furious. We make it high when we on the scene, yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team, yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around, you know that I roll with some kings. We shit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we.
Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leon Mookie here, and I'm back with you with another new part of What If Will Was Clive Rossfield's Reincarnation. This is part 6, and God, it feels good to be back with this What If, to be honest. I kind of miss doing it, to be fair. And given that, Wistoria Season 2 has been popping off like crazy, with getting its first 9 out of 10 rating on that of IMDb, I feel like this is a good time to, I think it's a good time to bring back that of one of these what ifs, to be honest. So yeah, anyways, let's go with that of a necessary recap. And the last part, we went over on how Will is already has high enough credits to basically graduate from that of, Red Garden Academy. However, he only needs enough credits left to basically make it to the college level. However, there's only a few problems. The first problem being the fact that he still needs 200 more credits, and the last problem being himself, as he's basically still hiding the fact about his powers of the icons, just relying on the basic flames of both the Phoenix and Ifrit, after all, and the skills of Clive, to be honest. So, of course, he's a little conflicted on relying on that of the powers of demigods from other realities. But that all basically comes ahead when that of Julius, one of the top-ranking students, not only disrespect Will, but basically disrespects the dwarves who have done nothing but always supported and has always cared for Will when other wizards refuse to, outside of Rusty and Colette. So deciding to no longer hold anything back as he plans on putting Julius in his place during the Grand Magic Festival. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? The very next day, as Will is basically getting ready, wearing that of his dungeon diving attire instead of just wearing his school uniform for that of the Grand Magic Games. After all, he needs to have all accountability and mobility, after all, as he asks Colette to be part of his team, of course. And originally he was wanting to ask that of Rusty to join. However, given that Rusty is an artificer and not a full-on combat mage like everyone else, I think it's best to leave him out in Will's thoughts. And nobody else basically was willing to help out Will, and given that the teachers can't get involved and help out students, so Wertner is out of the question too. So there's only one thing left. Basically beg anybody to join his team, but begging is basically just going to be a pain in the ass. Until Colette basically asks to do the one thing that feels like would be that of a slap in the face, but also he would definitely do it if she asked herself. That being Colette asking Scion to join their team. And just like that, hook, line, and sinker. the arrogant, prideful, and basically annoying as Bakugo reject that is Scion, decided to join the team in his own thoughts, believing that Colette basically wanting Scion to join the team to basically as his way of thinking that she's begging or asking him out, or in her ways thinking of trying to basically get over that of Will, to be honest, and be with him. So of course, in his own way of also getting an upper hand and basically one-upping Will as well, after everything that happened down in the dungeon with the with that of the evil Duke, of course. So when he arrives in that locker room, seeing Colette and seeing that, well, Will is there too, and saying, "Why the hell are you still here, laggard?" But then, Will not even phase, as he's basically just getting everything ready, as he gets on that of his cloak saying, "So, it looks like it worked, Colette." But then Colette saying, "Told you it would." He was already willing to join me after all. With then, Scion saying, "Wait, are you saying you both tricked me? You cannot be." With then, Colette saying, "Oh, put a sock in it. We're already registered after all." With Scion hearing that saying, "You cannot be serious." With then, looking at that, Will saying, "You damn laggard. You basically forced her to trick." Before he could finish, he noticed that a Will's look, a look of pure and utter determination and focus, while also having that of a fear look of malice as well. With then, however, that look was not directed at him. It was directed at somebody behind him, or rather, that's coming right in, that being Julius and his two lackeys, of course. With Julius having the smug smile as always, as he looks straight at Will, with Will still keeping his eyes off on him. As for Scion, on the other hand, the fact that Will's not even bothering looking at him, not even bothering basically having any attention towards him at all, basically pisses him off more than anything. And for that, as for the prideful noble of the Ulster family, he can't help but be absolutely livid at somebody that he used to look down upon, somebody he still looks down upon even to this day, is not even bearing him any attention at all. With the fact that, once again, Scion has that of a look of pure and utter hatred, even to the point that his pupils are completely gone, and all you could see is the red in his eyes. With that, of the main event of the Grand Magic Festival is about to begin. With that, a student that basically is doing that of the main commentary, as his name is Mike Myers. With Mike going, "Ladies and gentlemen, as it's now time for that of the afternoon event that you've all been waiting for, I, your lovely MC, Mike Myers, will give you that of the play-by-play. And with me as my fellow co-host is Red Garden Academy's most hated professor, one of the most shadiest and most sleaziest, with also being who basically holds nothing back with his blunt and savage words to no matter if you are a student or professor. Give it for Professor Edwards Surface. As Edwards basically being next to that of the loudmouth students, having basically that of a stoic and not even caring face on him, almost to the point that he's just allowing all of this to happen. However, deep down, we all know why he's letting it happen. With Myers even making that of a comment about why does he have the most gloomiest professor as that of his co-host for this. With Edwards having that of a demonic look to the point that his shaggy, disheveled hair basically started looking like that of snakes, actually. With even his, bland black eyes basically turning red, saying, "Myers, continue saying what you do. The very next day, you'll see a coffin right in front of your seat." With Myers going, "Sorry, Professor, please don't kill me." With that after that little introduction, with Myers basically explaining the true main event being the Crown Attack event, as he soon asked that of many elves from the Elf faction, otherwise known as Elif Canaan, or the Wind faction, as some like to call. As soon they all, with their wands and staffs out, as they soon create that 5 giant spell circles, each with different colors, as they begin chanting and explaining each of the, before finishing, as bringing down that of massive light, creating that of 5 elemental zones, with Myers soon explaining that the Crown Attack will take place in that of these 5 zones, one being a volcano zone, one being a marsh zone, the other being a grassland zone, the other being a sand zone, and last but not least, the 5th zone will be that of woodland zone in the center. The job is that of the 3-person teams to circle around the zone of their choosing and then head back into that of the center into that of the Colosseum, where in the center of the Colosseum will be that of the crown that they will need to gain to win the event. However, it isn't just going through that of these zones to gain that of the points you need, but also you'll be facing against that of tons of simulated monsters created by that of our illustrious professors here at the Academy. Not only that, within these zones, you'll even possibly might have to fight against that of the other teams that are basically going after that of the crown as well. In simpler terms, this is going to be a full-on battle royale. Within, Edwards tried to explain that this entire event is basically to symbolize what they probably be facing against when going down more and more through the dungeons after all, and what they need to prepare for before being cut off by that of Myers again, trying to hype out the crowd before bringing up that of each of the teams after all. With the ones that are basically favorite to win is that of Team 12, led by that of Wignall, everyone's favorite green-haired elf, and also Team 9, led by Julius, of course. We'll also bring up the other teams. He soon brings up that of one team, Team 6, the one who is least likely and least popular to basically winning this entire event, the one led by Will. With everybody begin laughing and basically commenting that Will has no chance, that the barbaric fire mage has no chance of ever completing this, especially if he doesn't channel or basically, perform any type of spells instead of just using raw fire magic. With then, as Rusty basically holding Kiki in his arms, can't help but feel frustrated at everybody basically talking down about Will like that, with Kiki noticing this. As Wartner basically allowing each team to head to that of their self-respected zones, he soon noticed Will there saying, Will, you plan on taking part in that of the Grand Festival again? I'm happy that you are, but do you have any... You do know you can't use your sword here, right? Saying, I'm 100% aware. Then why... But then, looking into his eyes... The eyes of seriousness, saying, it's time for me to stop hiding, Professor. With him realizing, Will, you plan on... With then saying, sorry, I gotta get going. Come on, Colette, saying, right, as she bows to that of Wartner, saying, thank you for your kind words, Professor. As Cyan is already, moving ahead, probably already choosing a zone for them anyway. With Wartner rubbing the back of his head, saying, man, what the hell happened to make him change his mind? Within, Edwards also noticing this with Will, as he thinks, so, as he finally decided to stop hiding, as he remembers ever since their, so-called supplementary class lessons, he's been getting a better understanding of Will's abilities, the power of the icons, powers that feel like they shouldn't even exist in a world like this. Conjuration, gartering summoning, and magic and spell manipulation is one thing, but this, the power every time when fighting against Will, during that of their supplementary classes, he realized what Will's powers are is primal magic at its finest, or rather, at its purest form. Part of him can't help but be annoyed at the fact of Will wasting his potential like this, but the other part of him, the part of him that actually wants to see him succeed, can't help but have that of a twisted grin on his face, as mentally thinking to himself, better not hold anything back, Sir Fort, or those future supplementary classes of yours is going to be quite hell in the future. With March seeing the look on that of Edward's face saying, Professor, you good? Saying, just get to the point, would you? Saying, right, please don't kill me. Before then saying, now, with each team reaching that of their respected zones that they plan on entering in, now let that of Crown Attack begin! Within hearing this, each squad begins to head into that of their respected zones and rushing straight back to the Coliseum. Within, as each team heads to that of their heads inside of their zones already, they reach that of the very first obstacle, with some of them looking like that of just regular stone cubes. However, that's not the case. As those so-called stone cubes begin opening up and then transforming, becoming that of prime golems, basically a legion, almost like that of a small army or a battalion full of golems, as each squad needs to figure out how to basically maneuver past them or make an opening for them to get through. Within, Meyer soon looks saying, What is this? As he sees that of Will and his team continue moving forward, not even stopping one bit. As saying, it looks like Surford's team is still keep going. With everybody laughing, wondering, is he just planning on sending that of a fire blast again? How the hell is he going to do it without a high-ranking area effect spell if he can't even chant or use a wand properly? Within, Will could feel that of the laughter, the mocking, the ridicule of everyone else, and then saying, I got this. No longer holding back. I am Will Surfort. I am also Clive Rossfield. I am also. Within, the flames inside him begin to burst, but instead of just becoming the wild flames, they soon become that of the flames of the phoenix. As over that of his right arm, he soon creates the wings of the phoenix, before then screaming out, Rising Flame! Sending that of a huge pillar of fire from that of the conjured flaming wing, as it creates that of as it basically destroys and engulfs almost every single one of the golems, wiping out each and every one of them without even any simple hesitation, creating an opening for them as well. However, that leaves almost everybody that was talking shit about Will completely and utterly stunned, as he has his right arm still high up in the sky, while the wing of the phoenix still conjures ahead of him, with the flames radiating off of him, even seeing that of the multiple rainbow flaming colors that the phoenix is known for, coming off of its flames. With that, Will having that of a look of pure and utter seriousness, but then saying, who's next? With then once again, everybody begins screaming out in that of pure and utter, what? Except a few already in the stands, from that of Headmistress Cauldron to that of Iris, Rusty, and even Edwards as well. However, with that of Wertner, who's already planning on going back inside, while basically having his left hand towards his waist and right hand on the back of his head saying, well, he did say he's done hiding, but to think that would be everybody's reaction already. I wonder how everybody else will react when they see the other icon abilities too. As Wertner couldn't help but smile, looking at that of the magic, viewing screen in the air, seeing one of his personal favorite students no longer holding himself back anymore in the public's eyes. With Will blitzing through that of the destroyed golems as he soon sends that of more and more waves of flames from his wings, destroying every golem that comes near his way. With Myers going, "This can't be happening! The one who's taking the highest lead in everybody at the beginning is the book learner and the savage fire mage, Will Surford!" While they keep moving forward, Scion, on the other hand, he can't help but remember back in the dungeon, back where he was saved by Will, when he saw the powers of the icons, when he felt the unbridled power and flames of the Phoenix, and even the power of Garuda and the ice of Shiva. Where Scion remembers everything as he trained himself, worked hard, devoted himself to becoming stronger in both magic, spellcrafting, and technique. But then there's Will. Within, he looks back at Will using not just a sword, but brute force, power, fire magic, and then the icons. As he feels like everything he worked for, everything he trained for, is meaningless when it comes to Will. And all he can say is, "That bastard!" As the team continues moving forward, with Myers giving out the commentary, as they finally arrive at that of the next obstacle in the sand zone. As the golems, even though they can transform, they still have that of long-range attacks as well. As with the spells that they be using is that of earth-type spells, as they begin sending that of stone spear projectiles from that of their cued form. Within, Colette seeing this saying, "Will!" saying, "On it!" As then, as soon he switches from that of Phoenix, no longer having his wings out anymore, as then he creates that of the Fist of Titan, as he brings down the massive earth gauntlet-like fist down to the ground, creating that of a massive earth shield. With then, as he basically runs up that of the wall before jumping up, switching from that of Titan's earth power to that of one power he hasn't used in a while, that being the power of Leviathan. As then he creates basically that of a giant sea serpent's head around his left arm that basically coats around it, as it gives off that of a roaring screech. Before then he takes aim, shooting that of multiple water shots at each and every one of that of the golem cubes, basically piercing right through that of the glowing spell circle in the center after all, while basically having a little bit of airtime in the process, as he spins around, flips, and even soon has that of a charge shot, destroying one of them completely atomizing it with a spray of water coming down from that of the attack as well, with causing everybody to be utterly downright shocked and surprised, with one going, wait, I thought Surfer only could use that of fire magic. That's what we all thought too. But look at him. He's not just using fire magic. He's using that of different forms of magic and even manipulating them, basically altering them to create those body parts. I thought he was basically a talentless fire mage. He's far from that. He can use multiple magic types. With another going, wait, if he's had this ability all this time, why didn't he show it off? Well, everybody is still seeing what Will is capable of. That's when Edward's saying Sir Ford's abilities and skill on taking down these enemies so easily and quickly is due to him constantly going down to the dungeon, but that's only that of one of the major assets of it. The secondary major factor of that is his ability to basically switch between magic types and basically alter that magic to suit how he sees fit, given the during the combat situation in hand. In simpler terms, Sir Ford's abilities make him that of a sleeping prodigy. With that, a Rusty can't help but be happy for Will getting some acknowledgement. With even that of Iris basically cheering on Will the hardest out of everybody, basically, giving her some strange looks. As for that of, Cauldron, she couldn't help but smile, saying, "Quite amazing. I guess this is what Sir Ford was trying to achieve. A sword becoming a wand, or rather, a magic blade." But then the crowd going, then if he always had this potential, why never shown it off? With then saying, "I bet the bastard was looking down on us." With then one saying, "Wait, hold on. What if he wasn't looking down on us? What if he was basically afraid what we think of him? I mean, it's kind of monstrous to see somebody that's able to use multiple magic types outside of just one alone." Saying, yeah, that's kind of terrifying, but it's also quite awesome too. If anything, I can't help but basically see the guy in a different light now. With many people now begin to cheer for that of Will. It's still not as much as, it's still not a lot, but still plenty than he did have before. However, those in that of the games, on the other hand, are trying to basically catch up with Will, hating the fact that they're basically behind, and half of them not even knowing what the hell is going on. But they felt like they can't, dilly-dally any longer. However, it also led to that of several people getting eliminated by that of the obstacles, by fellow, teams as well, and stuff like that. With Will still in the lead, and they finally reach the center, which is the Woodenland Zone. As entering deep into that of the woods, within, they arrive in that of the very first trap inside, as it being that of a dark chain spell circle trap, as multiple dark spells were about to basically land and hit that of Will, and in that of Colette and Scion too. With Will seeing this, saying, "Colette!" With Colette hearing this, saying, "Right," as she begins chanting, as that of Earth spell circles begin to materialize over that of Will. Before then, she soon brings her wand down, saying, "Argus!" As doing so, she creates that of three Earth-based swords. Basically, they're single-edged blades. With Will seeing, as Will jumps up as high as he can, grabs onto that of two of them, putting them onto that of his on his back, while having one of them, as he soon basically carves into that of the ground where a few of the dark spell circles are, and then using that of Titan's power, using that of the massive rock-like gauntlet arm to basically lift them up into the air, as he basically cancels out the attacks by hitting each other, as this was a spell that Edwards has basically made himself for one of the traps in the forest. And Will, who has basically been being trained by the guy for extra credit, is 100% aware of this kind of style of trap magic, as he's used it on him several times to try and get the upper hand on him. With Marks actually making a comment saying, "That was one of your own personal traps that you put in that of the, in the event." Any words of comment about how Sir Ford was able to dispel it? With then, Edwards just basically clicks his tongue, not giving out anything. With Mark saying, "Oh, come on, not even one little thing." With them basically going deeper and deeper into that of the wooden forest. With Will's one only goal and determination to find Julius, take him down, and make him apologize. That is the only thing that matters right now. However, as soon as he jumps up into the air, within him basically does that of spin dodge in the air, as coming straight at him was that of a icicle that pierces right behind that of Colette. With Colette a little bit terrified on what just happened, within, Will couldn't help but say, "An ice attack. And it's so powerful. There's only one person that could. Within, looking up, seeing that of Julius, with that of smug, arrogant, and twisted smile as always, saying, Julius? But there's no way he came this far. And wait, within, trying to think, saying, is he able, as he goes down to that of one hand and using that of the search spell, within, realizing there's only just us. And I don't sense his teammates anywhere around here. So how the hell is he? Before then, focusing on Julian again, saying, wait, that's an ice clone. Wait, he knows that ice clone technique? That spell. It's the same spell that Elfie used to use. Within, and couldn't help but grit his teeth, saying, that bastard, using the same spell Elfie used, especially the one that got her to become a Magiavaner. No way, but given that he's only using one, proving that he can't truly use it the most. Or better yet, it's not fully autonomous like that of Elfie's. So it's a weaker. As soon as he thought this, that's when multiple icicles begin to come straight at that of Will, Colette, and Scion. With Will seeing this, as he couldn't help but get annoyed at that, saying, pathetic. Within, instead of going with that of any other, icon, or even probably gone with that of Bahamut or maybe even Odin, instead, he decided to use that of Ifrits, mainly his Will-O-Wisp technique, as multiple fireballs began to circle around him, before then dispersing them all the way around, as he soon basically attacks and destroys each and every one of them. Within, Will realizing, damn it, I'm using too much of my icon abilities. I haven't had much time to basically rest. It's the reason I prefer using that of my basic abilities and amplifying my attacks through my sword and using my magic through my sword. I've done enough showing off. I think it's about time for me to basically charge up to take down Julius, because there's no way I'm wasting my time. As he soon basically twirls the sword, before then, with all of his might, channeling his flame magic, as then saying, I'm not wasting my time with a puppet! As he soon throws it right at that of the ice clone Julius, as it accelerated by the flames, basically piercing right through it and exploding. With that, Colette was actually shocked and surprised. As for that of Scion, that was basically the last straw for him. Then, he soon begins to channel slowly his fire, and his magical power begins to rise. With Colette saying, Will, what did you do? Did you just... Don't worry, it's not the real Julius. He's using that of Elfie's Arc-Weiss spell. Within, she hearing that saying, wait, Arc-Weiss? But wasn't that Elfiria's high-ranking spell that made her in Magiavander? How is he able? I don't know, and honestly, I don't care. Let's just get out of here and get straight to that of the... Then, another Julius Ice clone appears with a smile and everything. With ice spears basically materializing behind him once more. As Will was about to get ready, that's when he felt it. The huge amount of heat behind him and magical flames too. Colette Salad is saying, Scion! As then Scion begins to basically chant. As soon Will realize that chant, that idiot! Soon Will saying, Scion, don't you! Before he could finish, Scion was done chanting before saying, El Flame Billion! As the massive spell circle in front of Scion unleashes a powerful flame that soon basically not only head straight for that of Julius, but it also head for that of Will as well. With Will feeling this, as he soon was already able to dodge out of the way using a flame step so quickly that you would think that he teleported. Soon, that's when the flame spell attacked that of the Julius clone once more, but it also scorched and burned right through that of the forest, that you can literally see an opening right, at least that of meters away. Within, Colette noticed that the attack wasn't just for Julius, but for Will too. Within saying, Scion, what are you doing? This isn't the time. With saying, stay out of this, Colette. I've basically gone up with that damn farce long enough. And Julius is going to stay out of this too. Within, Colette saying, what are you? Within, Will saying, you utter idiot. Within, Scion clenching his wand saying, just looking at you, you are literally nothing but a goddamn offense to my eyes, ears, and everything. Because right here, right now, I'm going to crush you, you damn laggard. Within, Will saying, I can't believe you. Before then, stopping himself saying, no, actually, I can believe you. I can believe you would pull a damn stunt like this. But I was actually hoping you would pull it at least after this damn event was over. When I show my true capabilities, not in the middle of it. Within, soon, Scion raising his wand up saying, pick up your damn sword, laggard. With it, however, at the same time, that's when an ice barrier basically comes between that of Will and Scion and Colette, with Colette being left alone with that of Julius, or rather one of his clones. As Colette begins to basically have her own little duel with the ice clone, as Will saying, damn it, are you really going to allow this, Scion? I thought you had a thing for Colette. Within, Scion saying, shut the hell up! I don't give a damn right now about Colette. All I care about is putting you down in the dirt. Before then, sending that of multiple fire spells towards that of Will. With Will seeing this, is not even fazed by this, he soon basically, fire steps each and every one of the attacks out of the way, as he mentally thinks, damn it all, why now? Why did he have to pull this shit now? I knew he would, especially since Colette asked him to join us. I just didn't know when he would. He's just so irritating, so frustrating. As he continues to dodge all the attacks, that's when Scion uses one of his fire spells saying, Ligorous! Within, that's when one of the fireballs that fly past Will soon basically turns into that of Estril's straight fire line, as it was going to go straight for his leg, with him basically jumping over it, with the flames coating around his legs and feet as well, while sliding back too. Within, soon Scion saying, I can't believe this bullshit. You were showing off before. Where did all that energy go now? You damn laggard. Within, soon Will saying, damn it all. As much as I want to basically hurt him, beat him right here and now. Extinguish that godforsaken flame of his right now. As he can feel the flames of Ifrit about to consume him. Consuming through his anger, saying, I don't have time for him. Right now. Saying, you know what, Scion? I am not dealing with this right now. Within, Scion saying, huh? What the hell do you mean by that saying? I'm saying I don't have time for you being so goddamn childish right now. Within, hearing that, causing Scion to basically grit his teeth, saying, childish? Childish? You're calling me childish? Look who's talking, you goddamn cheater! Before sending that of multiple fireballs once again, as then they begin to basically home in onto that of Will now. With Will seeing this, deciding to basically coat that of the sword he got from Colette, as he soon basically, cuts right through the flames, precisely and easily, as yet they explode. However, Will basically comes out of the explosion, not even phased or not even scratched by it. Hell, his clothes are not even burned, mainly because of his own fires keeping him safe. With that, a Scion can't help but get absolutely pissed at this. with then saying, I'm not wasting my time with you because I have score to settle with Julius. You are nothing but a waste of my time right now. With Scion getting even more angry, while the crowd basically talks about that of Scion. And also bringing the fact about that of, well, is it even, with Marks bringing up the fact, is it illegal or basically disqualification for a, teammate to attack another teammate? However, that's when that of Edwards brings up a thing about that it's not really truly illegal, but it does bring a fact about that of the crown attack actually, that anything could happen at any point. That also means it also could affect that of Scion from being scouted as well. Mainly, it could also affect his scores and credits too, with that of a big and twisted smile on his face while saying all this, as it even basically reflects on many of the, scouts for the Grand Magic Festival as well, as many of them were actually quite impressed with that of Scion's abilities and skills and everything, but now many of them are actually quite, annoyed on how hot-tempered, hot-blooded, and somewhat of a, ticking time bomb he is if he's willing to attack his own allies after all. And to many of them, they don't even know the reason why. To them, just seeing it is enough to basically have him as that of a flight risk. With, once again, everybody basically couldn't help but laugh. With some people saying, honestly, can't blame Sion. I wouldn't want that of the talent list to basically succeed either. Didn't you see that? I mean, he's far from talentless. If anything, he's basically a freaking prodigy and a genius. Yeah, but a genius who basically holds himself back? That's kind of it kind of sounds arrogant, don't you think? I mean, sure, if you see it like that, but if try and see it from another guy's point of view. I mean, look at that of Elfiria. She was able to make it into that, become a Magia Vendor and go to the college course in just her first year alone. We all respect her, but deep down, don't you think if she was still here, I think we would all be terrified of her at the same time? Then why didn't he go up with her then? Who knows? With one of Scion's lackeys saying, man, the opinion about that of the damn laggard is split. Now that they know what he's truly capable of, but I won't lie, I'm kind of in the mix with them too. But to think Scion would basically pull something like this right here and now. Now it's going to be harder for him to even be scouted out if he does graduate. With then his other lackey saying, honestly, I can actually understand what Scion's trying to do. I mean, don't get me wrong, wanting to get the guy kicked out is kind of going a little bit too far. I was never really on board with that stuff. But if he's acting like this, he might have knew what that of Surford is capable of. Maybe when we went down to the dungeon and trying to sabotage him back then, with the other guy realizing what his friend means, and looking back saying, Scion, are you doing this just so you can get back at him? But why go this far then? I really hope you know what you're doing. With back in the arena with Scion basically looking exhausted and Will not even phased. As he's basically hearing that of the commentary that Julius is basically all over the place. That he's using that of Elfie's spell to basically just make clones of him and attack everybody. With then thinking, if that was the case, if he attacked everybody, he would already be in the damn center, keeping everybody busy while he gets the crown. And yet he hasn't finished yet. So once again, it proves that he hasn't fully mastered Elfie's spell at all. But you also had to get in my goddamn way too. What the hell did I ever do to you? What the hell did I do to anybody in this godforsaken school? Remembering everything he's gone through ever since Elfie left, having to basically hide his abilities. And of course, hiding them is mainly because of his memories as Clive. When nobody understands what you're truly capable of, people are terrified on what they can't understand, what they can't control, what they can't fathom. It's because of that. All of his decisions with his powers, with his abilities, his mythos was decided due to past experience and fear. But he kept moving forward. He had those who actually supported him, those who knew the truth, those who helped him, those who stood by him no matter what, were the ones that kept him going to his dream, to being by Elfie's side. Nothing more, nothing less. And his main dream of changing this godforsaken system that values magic over hard work, talent, and skill. But you, why are you always in my goddamn way? Scion! With even that, as back in the present, as a fireball heading straight for that of Will, with Will not even fazed by this, cutting right through that of the fire attacks over and over again, with not even fazed by it, with then Scion holding nothing back as he chants once more, within knowing the chant spell saying, "Wait, you can't be!" Within soon, the fire begins to basically mold, shift, and change as it soon takes the form of that of a flaming falcon, as this being his gardening summoning spell, Falcon Guardian, with then sending that of the flaming falcon towards that of Will, with Will basically not even phased, as he soon basically flame steps into it, before then slamming that of the sword down to the ground, cutting through its wing, as he soon basically, flips in the air. However, even though the wing was cut off, it regenerated, right connecting to each other so quickly, saying, "It has high-speed regeneration?" As then it begins to lunge and rush towards that of Will before it, and sending that of multiple fireballs at the same time, with Will flame stepping out of the way multiple times before dive bombing towards that of Will, with Will seeing this saying, "Damn it," as not wanting to waste any more of his icon energy, he soon basically decides to switch to that of just using that of their basic magic, before then charging that of a water ball shot, actually, as he charges it as much as he can, before then fully engulfing that of the fire flaming Falcon Guardian, with Scion seeing this, as Will trying to catch his breath while bringing his hand down, while looking back at Scion with a serious and annoyed look. However, everyone else on the other hand outside, with even Edward saying, "Flaming Bellion," and even a high-ranking, possibly even 5th rank high-ranking guardian spirit, with Edward's quite shocked at Scion's abilities, saying he's possibly surpassed the student level of a mage. But even though while a lot of other people are criticizing that of Scion, there are some who actually saw his potential. And maybe, even though he's impulsive and hot-headed, he really does have the potential to reach a level beyond what people expect of him. With Will and Scion back with each other, as Will trying to catch his breath, with even trying to feel his magic and even his icon energy, realizing, "I'm almost fully charged up with my icon energy again. It should be enough to take down Julius, but Scion, he's really starting to get on my damn nerves, like more than usual. All this talent, all this skill, and all this ability, and all he wants to do is basically get in my goddamn way." With then saying, "Is that all you got, you goddamn laggard? You haven't even hurt me even once," saying, "Because I'm not trying to, you idiot!" With Scion hearing that saying, "I don't have time to waste on you. I don't have time to be wasting on the asshole that does nothing but make my life here a goddamn hellscape." With everybody hearing that, with soon Will continued saying, "You are so talented. You are so skilled. You are capable of basically achieving everything I've ever wanted. But yet you want to waste it basically making my life a living hell? All for what?" With then Scion saying, "For what? For what? You are nothing but a goddamn humiliation. All you've done is look down on everybody. I haven't looked down on a goddamn person here. If anything, I hate everybody outside of a select few at this godforsaken school. But I hate you the freaking most. To the point that I am struggling. I am holding my back from not trying to kill you. With then, Scion hearing that, saying, You really, but I don't have time for this. Julius is my main priority right now, saying, and there it is. But then, Will looking up, saying, You don't bother looking at anyone else. You always do this. Brush me aside. Always basically looking down on me. Why don't you? Why can't you? Just look at me, goddammit! Acknowledge who I am! With then, Will hearing that, as he looks back. Back then, all he didn't give a damn about anyone but that of his goal to be there for Elfie, to see the top with Elfie, and at the cost within remembering that of Scion, as back then he only saw that of a guy just doing nothing but basically mess with him. But if he looked closer, maybe, just maybe, he actually wanted to be his friend. But that changed. Stuff like that changes. My goal is the same, but what I want to do with my goal now has changed. I don't want to just be a Magia Vander, to be there with Elfie anymore, just with Elfie alone. I want to change everything about this godforsaken world. How people like me, how people like Elfie, how people like you, how we all see each other, damn it. Is that so wrong to ask? Is it? As Will puts on that of his goggles. I acknowledge you, Scion. I've always acknowledged on how talented you are, how passionate, how amazing your flames are. But it always pissed me off because those flames, they're always aimless, directionless. Just continue to basically burn anyone that comes near them. Flames like that need to be extinguished, is what Ifrit always told me. But if they can be properly channeled, directed, instead of a flame that burns everybody no matter what, it can be a flame that basically shines so bright everybody can't help but want to be near it. With then saying, fine then, you want me to hit you? Fine, I'll hit you. But you're going to want to regret it when I'm done. With that, Will gets into that of his combat stance, the one that Clive is known for. With that, that's when he soon rushes towards Scion at breaking speeds so fast that his spell could barely even go off on time, as only a small majority of the spells were able to basically try and hit that of, Will. As a last-ditch effort, he brings out his Guardian once again, as it soon tries to dive bomb down onto that of Will. Within Will seeing this coming, deciding to at least use a bit of his icon energy instead of going with that of Leviathan. Instead, he switches to Bahamut, as that of the icon of light. Powers flow through him with the wings of Bahamut basically floating, basically coming out of his back as he flies up. Before then, he flies basically right over that of the Guardian. With Scion seeing this, but wonders, saying, you want me to hit you? Fine, I'll hit you. But I told you, you're going to regret it! Within, as soon light flames begin to gather around that of Will, in front of Will. With Scion seeing this, sending his Guardian back up. However, he also charged that of his own fire spell towards him. Within, Will basically saying, Mega Flare! As doing so, sending that of the large ball of energy up into the air. Before then, it disperses as it soon begins to rain down light-based meteor attacks down onto that, all around that of Will, the Guardian, and Scion. With then Scion seeing this, deciding to create that of a shield basically above him. That as for the Guardian, the Guardian is constantly being bombarded by the attacks until one of them actually hits its core, dispersing it again. With that, soon Will basically dives down, heading straight for that of Scion. With Scion seeing that, as through that of Will's eyes, you could see that of the flames of Ifrit burning through that of his goggles, while Scion's crimson eyes begin to basically burn as well. As this one attack will end it all. Before they could basically do so, a giant stone wall basically comes in between the two, with causing that of Scion to basically stumble back on his butt, and Will to basically hit head first right into that of the wall, causing his wings to basically fade and him basically sliding down on his face down to the ground before landing on his back, saying, "Ow, that hurt." Within, they hear somebody saying, "You two idiots!" Within, hearing that voice as it being from Colette, saying, "I can't believe you idiots would be starting to do this. And mainly it's coming from you of all people, Scion." Within, Will saying, "Colette, glad you're okay." Within, Scion saying, "Damn it, Colette." Before then, he basically screams in that of shock, covering his eyes, even though he's basically there are gaps through his fingers to see, saying, "What the hell is with your outfit? A daughter of a nobleman shouldn't look like that, especially one that isn't wed yet." "Oh, shut the hell up." Will saying, "Hey, you okay?" After what Julius saying, "Huh? Oh, yeah, the Julius clone. Yeah, I was able to beat it pretty easily." And if you're wondering, no, the clone didn't do this to my clothes. You did, you idiot! As she looks and points straight at that of Scion. With Scion realize, as he's basically completely dumbfounded. With then Will removing that of his cloak. Before then, pushing it over that of Colette, saying, "Thanks for always having my back, Colette, and for reminding me what's really important right now." With Colette's face going completely red and blushing. Before then, soon saying, "I gotta go take care of Julius." As soon as Scion was about to say something, Will cut him off saying, "Scion, let's make this 100% clear. You hate me, I hate you. Let's always focus on that. But let's make this 100% clear. If you really want to fight me, a full-on, real fight, no hard bar fight, it's going to be having to be after the festival is over. Because right now, Julius is my main priority. And I'm going to make that 100% clear until you get that through your thick skull. So until I'm done with him, you're going to have to wait. And when we do fight," within, pointing that of the earth sword at him, saying, "I won't go easy like I did just now. When I'm done, you're going to be wishing you never came to the school, because I have literally 7 years of pimped up hatred towards you." With Scion hearing that, before then removing the sword from that of Scion's view, as soon he already is halfway across that of the wood, saying, "What the goddamn laggard! You're gonna just say that and not even let me get a word in? Damn you!" As the festival is about to reach its climax at the very end. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below, saying, well, I'm finally done with this one. To be honest, I'm kind of proud of this part, to be honest, because I really, really wanted to say what I wanted to say about Scion. Dude is a pain in the ass. And I will never stop comparing him to being like Bakugo, to be honest. Because the dumbass is literally 1-to-1, but just without that of the, well, redemption arc just yet. Also, finally got to show off almost half of Will's capabilities in this part, to be honest. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys did so as well, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification to date my videos uploaded to the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, my gaming channel, my other channel, my side channel, my Patreon, and my Cash App. All linked in the description below. So, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie, signing out. Later, guys. Hope you all, and your time to close us off, babe. Thank you so much for watching and staying to the end of the video.
But there's still so much on my love channel.
That's right, such as my other What If content and the most recent What Ifs as well.
Not to mention his playlist, where you can watch all of his other What Ifs.
Which, all said and done, this is Leon.
And Shiro.
And you're watching Leon Mookie.